Hey everyone, it's Evangeline right here at eTrailer. Today we have the Yakima Roof Rack and we're going to take a look at how it fits and how it installs here on our 2021 Mazda CX-5. The specific parts we have here are the 50-inch long Jetstream bars, the baseline towers, and the custom fit kit. You can get this whole thing kitted together here on our website. If you want to carry around fun accessories like a roof box or kayaks or roof-mounted bike racks, what you first need is a roof rack system. And depending on your vehicle trim, there are different types of roof racks. This is going to be the rack for the naked roof. If you have 0 rails, this is what you'll go with. If you notice you do have a flush rail, meaning something that sits right above your roof, then you're going to get a different kit. Use our fit guide here at etrailer.com, select the roof that matches your vehicle, and we'll get that kitted out for you. The Yakima roof kit is an interesting one because this has a lot of adjustability. Because the CX-5 has a slope to the roof, some roof racks have to sit in closer together. But if you want to carry around longer items like kayaks or large roof boxes, having more crossbar spread, which you'll get with these baseline towers, will be helpful for you. Crossbar spread is measured from one bar to the other. In our case here, it's going to be 30 inches because this requires a very specific point that you install your roof rack. With this roof rack, the recommended length is going to be these 50-inch long bars. You can get longer crossbars if you want more overhang. This is just what Yakima found to look the best or be the more preferred length because of how flush it sits to the door. So if you measure for overhang, you measure from the tower to the end cap. The front crossbar is going to be 2 inches of overhang, while the rear crossbar is going to be 2.5 inches of overhang. Those are great unless you want something that makes it a bit easier to load items up. That's when you can get some longer bars available here at eTrailer. Some other measurements you'll need to know are how much space do you have with the top of your roof and your roof rack, because that will help you figure out if your clamps will fit and if you're scratching up your vehicle with items and cargo. Especially with you having a glass roof up top, that's going to be something important. So the first is the clearance underneath. So from the roof to the bottom of the crossbar, I have it at around 2 3/4 inches of space. That will change depending where on your roof you'll measure. If you have items that have like U-bolts and wing nuts, those are your more economy options. Just double check that because this is going to be in the middle to low range for clearance. As for the height, this will add to your Mazda CX-5. Again, top of the roof, but this time to the top of the crossbar, it's around 3 3/4 inches. So imagine you have skis. If those have extra tall bindings, you want to make sure they don't scratch up your roof, and then you can then get accessories that give you some extra height if that's the case. A common thing you'll see for naked roofs is since they don't have a rail to attach to, they have a clamp instead that goes into your door. And I had this style of a roof rack on my vehicle for about 3 years. And while it looks like it moves your wind strip around, once I took my roof rack off, that always moved back into place. So I'm not too concerned about it, especially since this is a custom fit for your CX-5. So you're gonna have these rubber legs underneath the tower, and those front legs fit perfectly into your channels. Then you're going to have this metal hook with a rubber backing, and then that fits into the groove of the door. Because of that custom fit, you can slam the door on your roof rack without any worries. I like to go kayaking, so I tend to put extra long kayaks on my smaller car. So another measurement that I like to take is from the rear bar to the open hatch. Here we have center of that crossbar to the hatch, 27 inches of distance. If you want to open up your hatch while you have cargo up top, you can move your cargo around to make that clearance. The Yakima Roof Rack is super popular because it's been around for a long time. It's very dependable, reliable, definitely a premium rack. However, it is a premium rack at a premium price point too. If you don't need the extra adjustability and don't want to pay extra for things like lock cores, I do have an alternative for you. It's gonna be an Aero Roof Rack. We have it available here at eTrailer. That one has slightly longer bars where they're of different lengths to make up for the shape of the vehicle. And if you get the through feet one, that one is my favorite in terms of design. It has a nice, sleek silver accent on the end. However, your Aero Roof Rack is not gonna give you the same amount of adjustability and crossbar spread because of how the Yakima Roof Rack pivots as well as twists around to fit perfectly on your Mazda CX-5. It has a very nice fit on the vehicle that a lot of people think is worth it if you're gonna be using it in the long run. So if you're curious about that process and you do wanna get a Yakima Roof Rack, let's take a look at how I got this installed on this car. Getting your roof rack installed might seem a little confusing at first because there's a bunch of different numbers, different specs, like what is T1, M1, M2, things like that. So follow along with this video. I already installed the front crossbar and we are going to install the rear crossbar together. For different crossbars, they are going to arrive with different adapters. We are currently setting up our Jetstream crossbar, so this is the adapter included. To get that set up, we put the plastic piece first onto the top of the tower. That presses in. And then we're going to attach this metal plate. So notice how there is a bolt there. That metal nut needs to go onto that bolt. But to get access to the bolt, we first have to flip the tower over. You'll see that there is an opening there where you can see that bolt head. And if you can't see it, pull on this door up at the front. But without all that visible, you can then use a tool to thread that nut onto the bolt. Do not tighten down. Getting to your crossbars, remove the end caps and slide the towers onto the bar. You can get away with just removing one end cap and sliding both in from the same spot. Just make sure that they are facing away from each other. And then put the end caps back on. Slide the tower to your M2 measurement for your rear bar. It might be pretty hard to see, but there is a ruler etched into your crossbar. For our rear bar, we're gonna go to 36 3/4 inches. There's gonna be that number on each side. Once you have it to that number, the end of the tower that is, you're then going to adjust your pitch. Your pitch is when you roll your tower back and forth. For your front bar, you're really gonna have to focus on the letters and numbers for that. For the rear bar, it's no big deal. You're just gonna go for the middle. So to orient yourself, there's going to be an arrow in the center of your crossbar. Make sure the arrow is facing away from you. And then the notch furthest away from you is gonna be A. And then for the toe, it's gonna be 1. So you go down from there. So for the rear bar, we're just gonna go straight down the middle. To do it all at once, we're first going to put the foot pack on before we tighten down the pitch and the toe bolt. So this clips into that tower. You wanna make sure the arrow is facing away towards the end cap. And then this is what you will twist to adjust your toe. So you see how that lever moves around. Again, we're going down the middle. So double checking that this is in the middle and that we are at 36 3/4 inches. We're then going to tighten down first on that pitch bolt. And we're going to keep tightening it down till the torque tool clicks. Do the same for your toe bolt. Now measure on your roof where your crossbar is going to go. So there is a measurement for the front crossbar, and then you have the M3 measurement, which is from the front edge of the first crossbar to the second bar. In our case, it's gonna be 30 inches. You do get a fabric tape measure included with your kit, but I like to use a straight measure for our purposes here. We're gonna mark the spot for 30 inches. On the roof, there is a sticker included. I'm just gonna make my own little mark. Gently lower your roof rack onto the stickers or marks that you created 30 inches away from your front bar. taking your B74 hooks, the number is printed at the bottom of the hook. We're going to install this into our rear crossbar and tower. So loosen that drive bolt, make sure it maxes out, and then slide your hook into that drive bolt. There's another hook in there that's gonna clamp around that hook, and then you're just gonna let it sit. We're first going to adjust our swing bolt. This adjusts the up and down movement of that hook. Tighten that down until it makes contact with your vehicle, and then don't go any further than that. Then you're gonna go down to the drive bolt and tighten that down until it pulls your hook up to make contact with the door frame. So we're going to tighten it down just till it touches, and then no further than that. Do the same thing on the other side. And then you're going to go back and forth and tightening down each bolt until they fully torque down. You want to do it this way so you don't tighten the whole system one way to the other, but you make sure it's evenly tightened. Double check the torque on your towers, again after tightening it down, and then you're gonna clean up by pushing in your different doors, making sure that latches. If you've purchased separately the Yakima SKS lock cores, which come in a pack of multiple lock cores at the same time so that everything can be keyed alike, now's the time to switch out the locks of your doors. You don't need them, they're just an extra helpful security feature. And to install the doors, these pivot from below and then come up and snap into place. Do this for all 4 towers, and that's it for your install. The last thing I do is I give all the crossbars and towers the good old shake test. And then I make sure that the torque tool included with the kit is stored somewhere where I don't forget it. A lot of people like to put it in their glove box. That's a solid spot to go. If you want to make sure you can easily remove your system, this is the only tool you need. But that right there was a look at and a show of how to install your Yakima Roof Rack system here on your 2021 Mazda CX-5.